You rightfully told the whole country that Gold Board is a continuation of PMMC. What PMMC is doing now is what Gold Board was doing. What Gold Board is doing now is what PMMC was doing before. So there's nothing new that Gold Board is doing. The real mandate of Gold Board, as you put it, will start this year or next year when they are funded by the Ministry of Finance. So all the praise that people want to heap on Gold Board, it's the same praise PMMC, because PMMC made a huge profit. And you see, the Minister of Agric has gone on to say that PMMC made losses. It's not true. PMMC made 214 million. It's captured in the on record. It's on record in the SIGA reporting. PMMC made a profit of $214 million last year. But you know what? Before I even go into things, look, there are things that the NDC. I'll read my letter in a minute, but let me respond to a few things that you say before I read my letter. PMMC has not, Gold Board and the government has not made a revenue of 10 billion. People keep making that mistake. You have not made a revenue of $10 billion. It's a swap. A swap is that if I now have 100 cedis and I go to the Forest Bureau and change that 100 cedis and I get $1, I have not made extra money. It is my same 100 cedis, but only difference that it's $1. Okay? What we did and what the government is doing is that you are mopping cedis from the economy, buying gold, selling the gold, and then getting forex. It's not revenue. That's the mistake and the misconception. And people keep saying that, and my brother have said it now, that, we've not borrowed. We don't borrow because of forex. We borrow because of fresh capital.
Oh, forex.
No, you borrow in forex, but you borrow because of fresh capital. You don't have money.
You were borrowing because of
but
forex.
You don't have money.
When you were
there were two incidents where we go into the market. We go into the market to the coupon market, the bonds market, and we go in for the syndication loans. That was the traditional way of getting new forex, apart from exports, right? So now, what you do is that you don't borrow. Yes, you're borrowing. It's some of your international borrowing is in FX and euro. That is why you now got that money. But the intention of borrowing is not to get forex. Your intention of borrowing is that you are short in financing your budget. As this year, you guys said that you need 357 billion. Is it 357? Let me get that number. Yes, 357 billion Ghana cedis appropriation, right? You can only raise 200 billion at most, cities at most, and you are saying that you're going to finance 71 billion through the local market. If you are able to go to international market, then you probably go and borrow from the international market as well. But because we are in IMF and we can't go into the international market, you are saying that you're going to finance your budget through 71 billion Ghana cities from the local market. So you don't borrow because of FX. Let me correct that.
I'm talking about external.
I'm saying by the external, your prime. No, but I'm saying that your prime.
The question yourself.
Senior,
you
your
don't
prime.
Borrow because of you say you don't borrow.
Yes, but I'm saying that your prime reason to go and borrow is not because you need FX.
That is true. We don't need FX.
Yeah, well, that's fine. But that's why I want to. That's why I want to correct that. Thank you. So your reason to going to borrow.
You don't go outside. These people are going outside to borrow.
Well, no, that's not true. But my brother, that's what you want to say. So because
we are borrowing on the domestic market.
The $10 billion that you are claiming, right? The 10 billion you are claiming is your effort to now drink a whole bottle of milk of magnesia, which has given you constipation now. As Sami Jemfi said, the target for that was 2028 and 2029. Now we met it today. And as a result of that, you've caused losses in the Bank of Ghana. Let me now read a letter from Bank of Ghana. Listen, you say that Bank of Ghana set a price with Gold Board. No, they don't. So this is why I'm telling you. Let me read the letter. When Bank of Ghana started, and let me give you the background so everybody understands where the letter came from. When Bank of Ghana said they were going to do gold for oil, I was against it. Because being in the industry for 21 years, I know that Bank of Ghana has no role, and I didn't know the law that allows Bank of Ghana to come in and trade. And I didn't know if Bank of Ghana has measures in place for the losses associated with trading, right? So I wrote to Bank of Ghana. Bank of Ghana now wrote back to me and said that, we've put all the measures in place. We've looked at all the T's and the I's on the dots on the I's, and we will not make any losses. And if any losses can be made, it will be mitigated by measures we put in place. I'm like, good. Then in February last year, I heard that there is a 214 billion losses. I'm like, hey, what's going on? So I wrote another letter under the RTI to Bank of Ghana. The Bank of Ghana now replied me why the 214 billion losses came about. And this is the response they gave me. At the close of financial year 2024, a cumulative loss of 214 billion was incurred on the G4O program. 0.32 billion and 1.8 billion losses are incurred for the 2023 and 2024 respectively. The losses incurred were primarily on gold and petroleum transactions. Details provided below. Losses on gold transactions amounted to about 1.8 billion, which were mainly due to exchange rate differential. The exchange rate used in the local gold market for the gold purchase prices and the bank's internal rate.
Yes, the difference.
Hold on. Yes, but if it was Bank of Ghana setting the price, they will use their internal rate, so there won't be a differential.
So it's actually set by Gold Board.
No, thank you.
Yes.
So if it was set by Bank of Ghana,
yes,
Bank of Ghana will use their internal rate to set. And you remember Sami Jamfi has been on. No, but he said the rate is set by the Bank of Ghana.
It's set by the Gold Board.
It's set by Gold Board. Thank you. So let me, Sami Jamfi has said that if you go to the ground, to the mines, to use the Bank of Ghana rate, they won't sell the gold to you. So you see,
it's low. It's lower than
very
the
low.
rate.
Exactly. So that is where the problem is. You see,
so the differentials.
The differentials is what is creating the problem.
Yeah, but that's.
Hold on, my brother.
No. Sorry. So no, I mean,
I don't need your help.
But that's a product of policy design.
No, it's not. So that is where I'm going to come to. When the NDC came in, and they hung the gold board and was gold for oil and was beating like a paniada, I Kojo Poku have sat on multiple platforms and said, guys, calm down. The gold for oil was not a scam. The gold for oil really made an impact. The gold for oil helped this country. Bank of Ghana, in this very letter, have come on to say that, look, this is what the Bank of Ghana said. The program helped reduce demand for US dollars from the bulk oil distributors, and total FX demand of $1.6 billion would have otherwise increased demand for the interbank FX market and put pressure on the exchange rate to cover the delivery of 56 cargoes totaling 101.8 metric tons, 1.8 million metric tons of petroleum products as the close of December 2024. And my brother can actually have a look at the letter from Bank of Ghana. You see, the point I'm making is that there was a program that achieved results. There was a program that was good for the country. The NDC, led by all their communicators, bastardized it and said that gold for oil made a loss. We told them that the losses were not the oil component that made the loss. The losses were mainly the gold trading side. And I said on GH1 that these losses are still in existence. This is way before the IMF thing came up. That because the because the Gold Board, the new administration, the Minister of Finance, the new Bank of Ghana governor has not learned any lessons from what we were doing, those losses are still ongoing, and it will be published in the Bank of Ghana audited accounts. 2 weeks later, the IMF report came out. So the point I'm making is that if the NDC had not done politics with the losses of Gold Board and have realized that the losses were not a matter of busts. You see, today they are all trying to get Sami Jamfi to explain. Edwin Provenza have explained tire. In fact, nobody believed him to the extent that he was arrested at the airport. Should we go and arrest Sami Jamfi for making losses? Meanwhile, Bost did not make a loss. Bost actually recorded 318 million Ghana cedis profit for the first time last year, and it's recorded. So why are we now talking about? In the NDC time, Gold Board does something, there is a loss. Everybody thinks they have an explanation. 2024, there was a loss. Nobody wants to listen to that explanation. That is the problem. If they had acknowledged that the losses made in 2024 was as a result of operational deficiencies in the way gold is bought, they would have sat down, found a way, and this conversation would not have occurred.
Right.
Now you understand my problem?
I do.
Thank you. That is why I don't want to hear what anybody is saying, because what Abai de Bobano, and that is what we are doing. So the losses that everybody is saying that was at Bost, though there was no losses at Bost, is the same losses at Gold Board. Because it is the operationalization of Gold Board that create the losses. And they are claiming that it is operations of BOST that created the losses. So
no, Akojo, if you've always known that by virtue of the policy design and operational and how the whole Gold for Oil program has been operationalized is what has occasioned or is what keeps occasioning these losses that you talked about. You've known this all this while.
Yes. And I've been speaking about it all this while, and nobody's listening.
So why then is your group, the NPP, raising the same issues as though you have no idea?
No, we have an idea, but the losses. The point is that who created the loss? We are highlighting an issue.
Yes.
You see, that's why I disagree with my brother when he says that the losses are made by Gold Board, but sits in the Bank of Ghana's books. That is why it is declared by the Bank of Ghana. But the operationalization, the guy who does the work, the guy whose actions resulted in the losses is Gold Board. You can't take that away. Bank of Ghana only buys gold. Bank of Ghana doesn't trade, doesn't assay, doesn't do anything with gold.
Yeah.
All Bank of Ghana does is that I give you 10 million Ghana cedis. I'm supposed to get 10 million Ghana cedis of gold back or more. Anything less is a loss in my books. That is how it works. You see how the loss occurs in Bank of Ghana. They give you a certain money goes out, that same money comes back. Anything less is a loss. It's profit and loss accounts, right? But now you want to explain how that losses is this, is that, is that, is that. And we are saying that it is as a result of the operations of Gold Board that those losses occurred. It is not as a result of Bank of Ghana's operations that losses occurred. I hope you understand it.
Explain to me which aspect of Gold Board's operations which has occasioned these losses.
Okay, so let me tell you.
Okay.
If anybody will listen to me, Kojopoko, and sometimes they want to make it look like some of these things are national issues, so we should all come together. But nobody wants to listen to advice. We should have a Ghana index for our gold.
Okay.
We know the answer. But the question, inserting the questions, it makes the answer a problem. Everybody now goes to the mines. And the minute you enter the mines, they use the international world market price to price the gold. Right? Now, then there's a discount negotiated. But after that gold is bought, it has to go through a lot of process. To the point where it is now sold to the single aggregator, which is now Bawa Rock. And then it has to be turned into Doré bars. Because we don't refine the gold. Yeah. We compact them into Doré bars. The gold have to be assayed, right? And then in the assaying and all that. And all the players also have a margin they charge because they don't work for free. So when the gold leaves the miner, it goes into an agent. That agent has to earn something on the gold. The gold has to go through assaying. There's a cost. The gold has to be turned into Doré bars. There's a cost. Then it goes to the aggregator. The aggregator now makes his small margin before it gets to Gold Board. So it is the operational cost which is being transferred to Bank of Ghana as a loss. Now, let me tell you the other way around. If Gold Board had money, Gold Board was giving the $279 billion. Gold Board will be doing their operations. In the vault of Gold Board, they will have X amount of gold. Bank of Ghana comes and said, I want to buy gold. And Gold Board will tell you, my gold, my Doré bars in my vault cost X. Bank of Ghana will decide to buy or not buy. But Gold Board would have factored in the cost of their operations into the sale of the gold.
I got you.
And at that point, Bank of Ghana will either ask for a discount and go and sell it. But when Bank of Ghana buys it from Gold Board at X, they will have to sell it at the same price they bought it from Gold Board or sell it more, so they don't make a loss. But in this case, because Bank of Ghana is the one providing the working capital to Gold Board, Gold Board's operational losses is coming from where? The Bank of Ghana money.
Okay.
So when you end up giving the gold to Gold Board, if you Gold Board end up giving the gold to Bank of Ghana sells it. What they get, just oppose that to money they initially gave. There is a less differential, and that is a loss. So what everybody is calling a loss is indeed an operational cost of Gold Board. Before, it was the lawyer who, when he became the MD of PMMC, that started the Dory bars. Before, they were not only buying gold in Dory bars, but for this program, they only buy gold in Dory bars. Okay, so my point is this. This is my advice to anybody that will listen. I'm great my brother is here. What we should have is an index for Ghana gold. We produce too much gold in Ghana not to have our own index. When you go to Saudi Arabia has their own index for their oil. When you go to Dubai has their own, UAE has their own index for their oil. You go to America, they have the Texas. Okay, you cannot use certain benchmarks to go and buy in these jurisdictions because they produce too many of that product and they have their own indexes. What Gold Board should do is to work with the Ghana Stock Exchange so that we have our own indexes, so that the Ghana gold, which can be now stamped as Ghana gold, will have a certain benchmark price. Off the back of that, we can now determine what the raw gold at the pit should be. Then we can work it backwards to determine what the index price of the gold should be in Ghana. We can artificially make that index a bit cheaper than the world market price to just get people to patronize Ghana gold. Like what the Saudis do.
Sounds like a good idea.
It is a brilliant idea. Do you see Kujupu giving bad ideas? But you see, the problem is that nobody wants to listen. You cannot go, you see, you know the gold trade between UAE and the Russians, Saudi Arabia and the Russians. It's not done in the same world market prices as we have to go through, because using the world Brent price or the Texas price, the world market price in Ghana is Brent. But if Ghana were to have its own index, we are the largest gold producer in Africa, third or second in the world. Why can't we have our own gold index?
Right.